Welcome, everyone, to the Digital Collective. I'm your host, James Hicks from Hicks New Media. And on this show, we focus on the people, platforms, and the tools that are making positive strides within the technology sector today. My guest today, listen, Rocky Nash. I'm so excited to have this conversation. Rocky is an executive live producer who focuses on guiding her clients through content strategy, studio builds, digital show launches, and media exposure. We're going to talk today about her journey as a creator. We're going to talk about how she doesn't let the technology get in the way of actually producing and delivering high quality content. We're going to talk about best practices that she may have for other creators looking to rise above the noise in today's digital creator economy. You are definitely going to want to have your pen, your notepad ready because you're going to collect some gems today from Miss Rocky Nash. Let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. Uh, Chief Everything Officer. I'm wearing this
I love
shirt
it.
for you. This is you, right? This is Rocky Nash for sure. Rocky, how you doing
Yes.
today?
Thank you. I'm doing great, James. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I've been looking forward to this.
I appreciate it. Listen, I'm giddy as well, and I got you. We're going everywhere. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn.
Everywhere.
Maybe on Facebook. I'm trying to get away from Facebook, but well, we still there sometimes.
We all are, but we can't stop. We
we
can't
can't
stop.
stop. We can't stop.
Yes.
Listen, I would be remiss if I didn't let you origin tell your origin story. Right. Again, I can tell at the 35,000 feet level, but it's always best, I think, for the individuals to say who they are, what it is that they do, and kind of acclimate themselves to the community, if you don't mind.
Sure. Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Rocky Nash, and I'm live in Las Vegas, but I was born in Detroit, Michigan, raised here in Vegas, went to college here at UNLV. I also, well, before that, College of Southern Nevada, UNLV, studied abroad in China, and I was a commercial photographer by trade for almost 2 decades before getting into video beta testing live stream and getting into that industry. But now I'm executive live producer. I left network television news as a digital live producer last year. And now I'm running my own digital media agency, Savvy Streaming. And so you will find me at all the latest technology and imaging conferences and conventions, especially because they're hosted here in Las Vegas, covering the latest hardware and software solutions for myself and for my clients. So that's what I do.
Again, Chief Everything Officer.
Everything.
Listen, Rocky Nash is the truth. And I mean, that's impressive, right? And your location is just conducive to, again, everything. I see you every year in January for CES. It was
Yes.
pretty cool that we got a chance to connect this past year within the media lounges and things of that nature. But just having that access to content, having that access to the shows and the conference and things of that nature by living where you live takes away one hurdle, right? Because a lot of us who may not live there have to
Yeah.
travel, and there's an excuse. But I want to talk a little bit about that, right? The fact that there really is no excuse to create high quality content, and you really excel at that. When I saw you the first time, when I saw you the first time, you had the mask on, and I thought you were gonna mug me in the elevator. But
It
we won't talk
happens.
about
People
that.
think that.
We
I
won't
do
talk
run up
about
on
that.
people.
Yeah, yeah. But the fact that you walked into the CES unveiled event with just your mobile phone, your mobile rig, a Rode mic attached to that, your microphone, and that was it. You didn't have the big mirrorless camera. You didn't have the big light setup. Talk to us a little bit about the fact that you can create and deliver so much content on such a small rig and a portable rig as well. Talk to us a little bit about that.
That's a great question because even when I started out, I delayed in getting started because I was worried that I didn't have the right gear. I
Mm,
didn't have a script. I don't have the history behind me, the degree in journalism, but I was a content creator and I was a storyteller, and I had an expertise. I knew a lot about Las Vegas travel and lifestyle, having been a luxury salesperson before. Many people, if you live in Las Vegas, we worked in hospitality in some way, and I've done luxury sales, luxury timepieces. I know a lot about men's watches or women's watches too, because I wear both. And also then from there I worked in real estate, and I worked in VIP concierge, taking care of high rollers and celebrities here. So I knew a lot about my city. So that was my strength. I played to my strengths.
Hmm.
When I finally got the courage after a couple of people recommended, just go live, try these new apps out. One was Periscope. There were others that no longer exist now, but I was an early adopter of a lot of live stream platforms. But the beginning of my storytelling career in video was talking about Las Vegas travel and tourism, answering people's questions live on Periscope. And I was only using my iPhone 6S. So
Come
I was
on
only
now,
using
flashing
my
back.
mobile phone. Yes, I think I might even have it nearby, but my iPhone 6S, the first stream that I did, I believe I was in Tivoli Village. If you live in Las Vegas, you know that's in Summerlin. And then the second, I believe, was at Bellagio, the fountains of Bellagio, showing the world the fountains and how they are synchronized to the music. And I had thousands of people on that stream.
That's
And when I
crazy.
did my first 360 live stream, beta
Yeah.
testing an Insta 360 camera going live onto Twitter, it was 50,000, almost nearly 50,000 people live watching around the world. And it was amazing because I didn't have the best camera. I didn't have a gimbal. I didn't have external audio. It was just me, that app, online audience, talking about something I knew a lot about and answering questions in real time. And that's when I knew, never let fear of others, like comparing yourself to others and their progress,
Mm.
or fear that you don't have the right gear to get started, stop you, because that led to me building a firm foundation in storytelling on camera in real time, where it didn't scare me anymore. And I was a shy person growing up, but you can't be in
Yeah.
live stream. So I learned a lot from that, and that taught me, and I stayed that way for about 5 years, going live almost daily sometimes. I built a large audience and also attracted brands organically. So don't start where you are with what you
Yeah.
have and go live. That's something that's even in my email signature. Start where you are
I think
with
it.
what you
Hold on.
have
It
and go
is. I
live.
think there. Okay.
It is
Let,
because that's where I started, and
let me
I
ask you.
still use it.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Let me ask you something, because you hinted on something right there, and I think this is also a hindrance to maybe some folks who want to get into content creation, who want to get into digital curation, things of that nature. You started with what you know as well, right? You knew the Vegas scene from from a luxury, from a concierge, from a sporting, from an events, entertainment perspective, and you went out and talked about what you know and knew, which made it more comfortable to have those
Yes.
conversations and to share maybe that behind the scenes that not everyone knows about. When you come to the city, listen, you want to stay here, boom, you want to go do this. I should be talking to you about these Tag Howards that, that's my watch. We could
Yes,
talk
I know
about,
about.
yeah,
We
we
could
should talk
talk
about
about.
we gonna talk about that offline, but you and me and Tag Howard, we could probably get together and do some things.
Yes,
But
Vacheron Constantin, Panerai,
see,
Rolex,
okay, see, Steve
um,
Worthy's in the building. He
Piaget.
likes to spend money
Oh,
too, so watch yourself
yes,
now.
talk to me about it.
We're gonna get ourselves in trouble. But you mentioned a statement as well a couple of times, and that of storytelling, right? Because it's a whole difference of just going out, turning on a camera, pressing record, and showing something. But the the skill of storytelling. Talk us a little bit more about how important that is to being successful when you're reaching a community, reaching an audience, and trying to convey emotion. Because just talking monologue and monotone, that's not going to do it, unfortunately. But your ability to storytell, did you learn that in school? Did you learn that just that was innate to how you started delivering your messages? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, like I said, I was shy growing up, but I did a lot of volunteer work. I'm a God girl, and I definitely did a lot of that. That really helped me with volunteering in the religious space.
Hmm.
Also, not being a fear, having fear of rejection, not I did go to college, but I went to a community college before I did online schooling, before I went to UNLV here in Las Vegas. So, yes, getting out of your comfort zone really helps, but talking about something that you know is also what helps, like to what you said.
Yeah.
But I don't want to make it ever seem like, let me start by saying, you can do it differently and you can still win. I think with the sea of content online and the sea of social media experts and the sea of video experts and producers, we need to be careful not to make it appear that there's only one way to do
Oh,
something
I
and
like that. Come
succeed,
on. Yeah.
because there's not. I started on my mobile phone. Many people frowned upon it at the time. Many people, well, there weren't a lot of people doing live streams in Las Vegas at the time. There wasn't a lot of people doing Las Vegas travel and tourism videos. There were some on YouTube, but I was going live on Periscope. And to speak to the fact that you could be on your phone, but if you talk about something that you know well, that takes out the fear of, what am I going to talk about? That takes out the doubt in yourself, that, like, oh no, someone's going to question me. They might say no, that's not right. But I knew that nobody could tell me that what I was saying
I love
wasn't
that.
right, because I know my city and I love my city. It's constantly changing, but that was something that I was confident in. And so, just to go back to, this worked for me, I encourage you to try it. And if it doesn't work for you, but something else speaks to you, do that, because if you're consistent with it, people will pick up on that and they will be attracted to you. So that is why I say, this is what I'm saying worked for me.
Yeah.
I didn't let the gear get in the way. I talked about something that I knew very well. I didn't let the fear that comes from comparison bother me either, because there's a lot of better, people who are more comfortable on camera, more well spoken, more educated, who have the degrees behind them. But it didn't matter for my audience, because I focused on what I was talking about, which was Las Vegas travel and tourism. I went live in places so that I could answer people's questions in real time, and that helps them, because maybe they were planning their trips to Las Vegas. And so my content was not only from an expert standpoint, it was approachable. I focused on serving the people by answering their questions in real time. And that made it an easy yes for people to continuously come back for my next stream, even though you know what the streams look like in those days. It was not
Not
4K,
not gonna say
but
not
they
even
still watched.
720, but hey,
Wasn't,
but
I don't
it's
know
all
what it
right.
was.
It's all
Yeah,
right.
so if I got off on a tangent a little bit, redirect me, but I just want to say, I started with storytelling by talking about something I knew. I focused on serving others instead of my fear of going live.
Yeah.
That made me forget about it once I was talking. And then when you focus on the comments and answering
Come
people,
on.
you don't have to come up with the next topic.
I'm gonna focus on the comments, but I'm trying to steer away from this guy right here because see now he's trying to focus on watches. See, Steve is not.
Oh,
I can't. I don't even know what that is. Right.
oh, you
All
know
I
what?
know.
He can DM me.
Oh
I'm.
shoot.
You see
Oh,
my
here we
information
go.
there, because
Here we
I
go.
know I've got a poster. Oh, it would just blow his mind. I got some books back here, and I
Lord
have
have mercy.
posters of the whole watch collections.
Let
You
me
would just love
ban
it.
this guy real quick from the comment section. Let me. But you know what?
Oh.
But I want to go back to something that you just mentioned.
Okay.
That I thought about getting out of your way, not worrying about the technology, not worrying about what
Right.
others say. And you'll remember this as well. What was one of, I hate to put you on the spot here, but what was one of
That's
the
okay.
main don't do's that quote unquote experts told us to do back in the day when it comes to video?
Well, it won't get me into trouble, because I mention it now, even when I'm coaching someone in live stream, whether it be phone, camera, or
Yeah.
more professional
So
production.
I'll say this: shooting on your phone, because I know exactly what I want to say, and I want to take you down this path. Shooting on your
Okay, I'm
phone.
going with you.
So shooting on your phone. What was one of the main things that folks say back in the day? Don't do when you're shooting video on your phone.
Well, just for one, they said not to go live on your phone because it's too raw and it's
Yeah.
not professional. Had I listened, I wouldn't have been recruited for a huge marketing activation here in Las Vegas around the time of New Year's, where they needed specifically influencers and storytellers to go live at every property by a certain, I'll just say MGM Resorts International. They needed live streamers. Had I listened that live streaming is not professional, I would have never been in the running I would have never gotten recognized to be
Man,
hired for that campaign. So that's why I say, don't get caught up on the tech, and don't also, there are many experts. We all are experts of our experience and our story, and some can benefit from it if they find themselves attracted to what we're talking about. But it didn't make me less professional by specializing in live stream,
that's
because I
true.
had also done the professional video where it's scripted and rehearsed and
Yeah,
perfectly edited, and that's fine. But these are just two different types of things for two different types of use cases. And so that's what I would say. People are saying, it's and I even famous YouTubers now that are selling courses, well-known YouTubers
we won't
that
mention
that
names.
I've
We won't.
sat. No, I would
You don't
never,
have to.
because
I
they're
will. Yeah,
friends.
yeah,
No, they're people I know, but it's okay because I went to Streamy Awards, I went to VidCon,
yeah.
and it was early days. It was before YouTube Mobile was available, and I was still live streaming. But I'll say this as a positive: a well-known YouTuber walked up to me, and I had no idea who they were because I wasn't on YouTube. I was focusing on Periscope at the time,
Yeah,
and they said, "You're killing it in live stream," and that just, it just was
that's
like, oh,
cool.
like, I didn't even see myself as a peer, but it was like they saw that I was being consistent and I was putting out the content. It was high quality as it could be, and I made a space for myself in live stream.
That right there is a gem. Hopefully, folks will take notice of right there. But so what I was specifically talking about was
Okay.
shooting in portrait versus horizontal.
Oh, shooting a portrait versus horizontal.
Now,
I mean, I'm
now,
hearing that not in the past. I wasn't hearing much of that because a lot of people weren't doing it anyway. But
yeah,
I'm hearing that, oh,
yeah.
shooting vertical now, right? Shooting vertical.
Right.
Some are saying
Now
horizontal.
all the reels, now all of the micro contents, the TikToks and Facebook reels, IG reels, things like that, we're shooting it vertical as opposed to shooting horizontal. Right. It was always
Yeah,
that kind of mantra of you can't shoot video in vertical, but now
right. You have to.
from a consumption perspective, this is how the kids are doing it. Right. This is how that Snapchat, TikTok, what that generation is consuming digital content because it is actually easier to look at it from a portrait perspective. So I go into all that and I say,
Right.
forget the experts. Do what's right for you. Do what's natural for you. Listening to your community, obviously, because your community will tell you we're only shepherds of our community, right? And your community will,
Yes.
will will guide you in the direction that they want to go with the particular content that you're delivering. But I've always thought that was funny that so many, again, quote unquote influencers and or experts would say, if you're going to shoot on your mobile phone and you're going to shoot video, you got to do it in horizontal. No, you don't.
Well,
No,
there's
you don't.
trends. There's trends
Yeah.
that come and go, right? And so no one's wrong. I'm not saying that, because we all are experts at something. Your podcast is amazing, by the way. Your video production, it's all great, and I love it. So you're an expert at this. I'm not saying forget them. I'm just saying don't let it deter you if you feel
Mm-hmm.
strongly about doing something else, because you may be ahead of the game. You might be ahead of the curve. You might be onto something new that's going to be the next trend. And by not changing who I was from the beginning, and I may have every now and then tried something I heard if it was interest to me and I thought my audience could benefit from it, but it didn't make me stop on, like, remove my personality and my style from it. So be influenced by others, be encouraged by others. Absolutely hire coaches. Not only am I one, I've hired
Yes.
coaches and I
Yes.
plan on going to another, joining another coaching group. But it's just recognize that don't let it discredit you and what you feel you should be doing, because I shoot both. I shoot in vertical. I go live in vertical and in horizontal. And sometimes I just film it away so that if it's a 4K and it's horizontal, it's easy to crop in and post and repurpose in vertical. So
Yeah.
it's just not one way or other that's right or wrong. It's just consider your use case, consider your audience. And if that's what they like, keep doing that.
Rocky Nash is giving it to y'all. Come on, man. Somebody put some likes in there. I know I'm streaming everywhere. Listen, we were on
You
Twitter,
are.
we're on
I was
YouTube,
trying to check
LinkedIn.
it.
I mean, oh my goodness, y'all better recognize right here. You're not gonna get this just off the streets. I like what you mentioned as well about showing and exuding your personality, right? Because
Yeah.
being your own individual you as you're going out there telling your story and presenting products and presenting strategies, whatever, having master classes and workshops to your community. If you if I didn't emote, if I didn't talk with my hands, if I didn't do all this stuff, it would be not me, and it wouldn't come across with the energy. But uh, again, watching the stuff that you put out, watching your content when you're live on the scene, when you're in those conference rooms, we hear the inflection in the voice. We see the emotion, and we see that you're actually dialed in and listening to the person that you're interviewing, right? So you bring about your personality. So you're not just interviewing; you're actually participating in the
Oh, thank
conversation.
you.
So
Thank you for
listen,
noticing that.
come on now. We watch what's going on. And I think, to be honest with you, and I know a lot of creators are watching or listening right now as well. And we need more of that. We need more of that feedback loop, right? Should not be hesitant to actually say, "Hey, Rocky, you might want to adjust maybe that lighting. You might want to adjust, hey, this angle. Consider this, consider that. Brush up on the thumbnail, whatever." Right? We should not hesitate to see our colleagues get better and succeed and get 1% better each time they go live. Right?
Let's
There
speak to
shouldn't be
that.
hesitation. Right? Let's go. Come on now. Go
Yes,
ahead and
no,
go ahead
let's
and
speak
dive
to
into it.
that. I follow my peers now. In the beginning I didn't because I had my blinders on and I just wanted to create, just create freely and focus on my audience. But then I realized the importance of collaboration, the importance of seeing what your peers are doing. You go farther, depending on where you live. You go farther when you work together. I was trying to do so many things on my own, and had I collaborated sooner with other live streamers, that would have really helped me. I'm a super techie, so I work a lot behind the camera too. So maybe that's why that was my excuse. But now, like meeting you at CES and then deciding to go live with you impromptu, like be a guest in the media room at CES was really great for me. It was an encouraging experience. I'm like, oh, this is what it feels like to not stream alone. And then others who have a full, beautiful studio that cost up to $10,000 to $30,000, that's also great. There we are. You
Come
have to
on
take some
now.
great photos.
We have in the
And
building.
we can all do it differently and still win and collaborate together. There's an audience for everyone. So yes, while I may be bubbly and approachable, that may not be great, because I also worked, as a digital live producer at a local news station here. When you're in network television news, that's not the persona you want to. There's
Mm,
professional journalists on air presenting that type of personality and that type of delivery, and that's appropriate for that area. But since this is my production, I do it this way, and guess what? There's an audience that is drawn specifically to me because they want someone that's going to uplift them. There may be someone else that's like, her personality is distracting. I just want the facts. I, and I don't want the in between conversation to encourage me. I just want walk by the booth, tell me the specs of the latest camera, and walk away. And that's fine, because guess what? There's that creator for them. And that's
yeah.
what I like about the creator community. We're about to go to the National Association of Broadcasters next month, NAB, and I'm very excited about it because it's speaking to the fact that there's media, entertainment, sports, and the industries that support them, from idea to publishing, from the creation to the consumer. There's a space for all of us within there, whether it be traditional or new media, and I absolutely love that. So don't think that there's not a place for you or an audience that will welcome you with open arms just because you're different. Keep your personality and your style, because how tiring would it be to have to put on, not
Mm.
in addition to have to getting dressed, and if you wear makeup, because sometimes I don't on camera, um, how exhausting to have to think about what personality I should also put on. I'm not doing that. I'm not
That's too
doing
much
that.
work,
So
right? I
it's too much
can't.
work.
I can only be me, right? And
I can
folks in the
only be
community
me.
know that I'm strange and I'm crazy, but it's all good. It's the exact
You're
same
great.
day in after day out. And my makeup is, I got mine on.
You got yours on. I love
I
it.
got
But
my
I follow everyone.
anti-mattifying.
Yes, yes. But
So
that's what I wanted to end with, is that, but no, but I follow all my peers who have
yeah.
completely different styles than me. Some are similar to me. Don't let that intimidate you either. Just because there's phrases I've been saying for a long time, then I'll see some another time on someone's shirt or this. That doesn't mean they took it from me. That doesn't mean someone else didn't say it before me. I think so many people get caught up
Mm,
in either I need to look like this person, or if I say this, people are going to think I'm copying this person. The people who are publishing some of this content aren't the first that said it either. They were
that's true.
inspired by someone. You think you may have said it, but guess what? What if you weren't watching or following me or James, who've been saying it for much longer? You wouldn't know. So don't get caught up on the gear. Don't get caught up on what people will think of you, because there's an audience that will love you, and it's okay to support others. You said that about taking advice from others about, oh,
Yeah.
can you improve your thumbnail? Can you do this? I've signed up for courses. I've purchased digital download packs from my peers who are also live producers or YouTube creators. And I love that we're supporting each other. There's enough room for us all to grow an audience, to win, to have our own platform and support each other. We need to, if anyone's doing that, because I think that we have a large supportive community, but if anyone's letting that stop them, don't worry about it, because there's more of us that want to support each other.
Just gonna let that marinate for a minute. Let that just let that simmer out there in the pot.
Yes,
Because
let
I
it
mean,
simmer.
yeah, I'm gonna let that marinate for a little bit. Because I mean, really, that can be a hurdle, especially for folks who see this opportunity, see an opportunity to they have a community they want to cultivate, and they want to start spreading messages. They want to use the power of technology and the power of digital media to spread that message. But they look at others and they initially want to emulate that, right? They want to have the fancy this, the fancy that, and the lights, the camera, and the action. But and that deters them from actually delivering the message. That deters them from the most important part, and that is delivering the content. So,
Right.
uh, being in the room and being the smartest person in the room, I don't want to be in that place at all. I would love to be in the middle of somewhere where um, the Petrucci's and the Petrecchis and the
Yes.
Nashes, right? So I'm dropping names that we all know. I mean, the
No,
folks
yes,
that,
I love it.
right?
Yes,
So the,
Loria
the folks
Petrucci,
that are
Eric
out there doing it,
Parecki, Nikki Sun.
right? All,
Yes,
all of those folks,
Roberto
and
Blake.
right, and hearing all of their concepts about, from not just from doing this as maybe a side hustle, as probably some folks start, but then evolving into a business. What it takes to actually spin up that LLC, what it takes to actually maybe trademark that name, to trademark that logo, doing all the things to make this dream that you may have into a
Yeah.
reality outside of just, again, that side hustle. Nothing wrong with the side hustle. But
No.
when you want to put, when you want to put the Stacey Adams on, or the Bostonians, when you want to put on the, I don't know what other shoes. Those are the only ones that I have. Well, you want to put the big boy shoes on and actually start doing some things at a more global perspective. You got to have those things in consideration as well. And you've done that quite well. I mean, just the onboarding piece that you use for bringing on clients and perspectives. We don't necessarily have to talk about individual tools and things of that nature, but you've
Yeah.
been able to integrate things that allow you to be cognizant of your time and not say that I'm available Sunday through Saturday, midnight to 11:59 or 12 a.m. to whatever the case, 24 hours a day. But you've actually been able to frame it out such that folks have to be flexible enough to work in the confines of what Rocky Nash is doing, right? You've got some admin days, you've got probably some production days, and you got days for meetings, for live streams. Talk a little bit about, all right, so we're no longer afraid of the technology. We're actually
No.
getting out there and getting it done. Talk to
No.
us a little bit
Got this.
about putting some structure around our activities, such that when we do go sit in front of the MGMs and when we do go sit in front of the client, that we are prepared to have that conversation about hiring me as your live stream producer, as your digital show studio build person. That kind of, talk to us a little bit about the structure that you've put in place for your world.
Well, for sure, it hasn't been perfect. It hasn't been without its challenges.
Mm-hmm.
I think we don't post enough about
And
that.
that's
So I've been
better.
posting
Yeah, and
a lot.
see, that's
Yeah.
how it should be. We want to fall and then get up, and then that way we can tell
Yes.
folks about those obstacles. So I'm sorry if I
That's what I
interrupted.
like, and that's what I've been posting. No, you're not.
Yeah.
I talk. This is a dialogue, and that's how I talk in real life too. And I post a lot more about that now, like a little bit more behind the scenes clips. More. It was. I was taking too many naps working from home, so I had to start working at the coffee house, and I'll show you a time lapse of me working on my laptop, spilling coffee on it,
That was dope. I
getting
saw that. That was dope.
distracted, coming back. I'm going to do that more, but also, discuss when you lose a client that you had as an annual contract, and maybe you worked with them for 3 months and then their budget changed. That happens when someone tells you no because they don't like your style. It should be, they
Hmm.
want the full studio with the multiple camera setup. And while I have produced like that, and I do know how to do that, build studios like that, it's oftentimes for me, it's this, it's just my phone, and it's just my gimbal when I go places sometimes, because this allows me to create the footage, edit it, and publish it right away. Then that's what I'll do. But what I'll say is create content so much that you've made the mistakes. You know what works for you. You've improved your workflow. And then, like you said, to speak to my CRM system, I've tested so many different productivity apps to record the leads that I have, to track the follow-ups, to create invoices and track it for tax time, and then also creating portfolio proposals and contact forms.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not able to bring, we were laughing, you all didn't see this part, but James and I, before we went live, I was having a little bit of difficulty letting go of the producer hat because I had my green screen is behind me, and but had we been able to bring in my software as well as I would have been able to show you my QR code and some B-roll, but that was not my job today. My
Not your
job was
job
to be a
today.
guest,
Your job is just to hang out. And come on
just
now,
to hang
I
out.
blended the background perfectly. Come
It
on now,
looks great. I mean,
come
this
on
is
now.
a Range Beauty or Fenty by Rihanna ad
That's
right
what
now.
it
I'm
is.
loving this
That's what
natural
it is.
background.
Come on
Okay,
now.
but all this to stay focused because I'm really bad with tangents is that yes, I'm learning. This is my first year as Savvy Streaming digital media agency owner. Yes, in the beginning, you can feel a little imposter syndrome, like who am I? Yes, I worked at a network television station. I was recruited into that role. I didn't apply for it at first, but it was because they had a digital first initiative to build a digital studio, train the anchors and the digital reporters how to go live in between the broadcast, the tease to the on air news station. So while they didn't fully implement that right away, but I finished building it, training everyone
Wow.
before I ended up running my own production company. Um, that's fine. But to speak to the business, I'm still learning too. In fact, I'm just as excited to go to CES and cover it as media. I'm just as excited as you are to attend NAB because not only am I covering stories and raising awareness for new technologies out there, I'm learning how I can improve my small business. So
Yes.
there are people who need exactly what I have, which is approachable storytelling where I'm a professional trained commercial photographer for more than 2 decades, but also the video storytelling. I can create that horizontal, build you a studio, and I can create reels and social media for you and manage it. But I was like, how am I going to manage the interest? Then I found a new CRM system. Okay. There's cloud based SaaS platforms
Yeah.
that really was like, wow, this is great. I've tested. I was going to say, I mean, I can name 10 for you right now that I've tested, but now I finally settled on one.
Been in the book with you, been right there with you, gone through all
Been
of them.
right here, right? They're great and they all have their things, but it needs to do exactly what you need. I needed something from contact to bringing that lead in to I could use my template replies to then when it's customized, they could select a time for a virtual or for in-person meeting. Then it could follow up with them with the portfolio, images. I needed something that took them through the full journey, the customer journey
Yes.
with me, all the way down to making payments or it being auto payment, down to, hey, reminders, those automatic emails go out. So I know that was a lot to say, but I finally found it and I'm not going to promote it but it's working for me. And to speak to the business, yes, I'm an LLC. I work alone, but I also from time to time hire assistants. Sometimes I have interns who just want to learn from me, and there are times when I'm still testing things like should I work with a different camera. I'm a Nikon girl if you want to pronounce it the way it's pronounced, but Nikon, that was my first camera
Mm.
ever. And I still have that glass, but I've also used the Canon body. Love the Canon ROS, the Canon EOS, the R6, I
Mm-hmm.
believe it
Mm-hmm.
is. Tested that one. But I've also used medium format. Like I've used all the cameras, but all this to say is that I went back to what works for my business model. What will people pay me for? And
Yeah.
people love working with me with building their rundown for their digital studios, whether they've gotten away from news and they want to launch their own show, or it's a content creator who's switching from one platform to another and they want me to come by and help them, make sure it goes smoothly and launch it and manage the social. So that's find what works for you is what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say, but make sure in the business side that it's something that people will pay you for as well, because sometimes you can get so caught up on what you love doing, but if it's also not paying the bills, you'll end up right back at 9 to 5, which is
Ooh,
not bad because I love my 9 to 5 jobs. I
man.
picked them. I don't work anywhere I don't love. So shout out to everybody in my LinkedIn history. You can see
Yeah,
it.
don't make them mad. We on LinkedIn.
No,
Don't make the
yes, if
LinkedIn
I've worked
audience
with
mad.
you,
Lord have mercy. You gonna
no,
mess up
no. If
all the
I've worked with
contracts.
you, I liked them. No, if I worked with you, I liked you. I liked that company, but I was brave enough to step back out because as an entrepreneur before.
Yeah.
And then I joined I got a 9 to 5, and then I went back, and finding that comfortable space, but also making sure you can support yourself. And it's a challenge. You're not going to always win every month, especially
Yeah.
I'm in my first year, but I'm finding the right audience and the right client base for me that makes me comfortable and still love what I do. That's where I'm at right now. So,
That's huge. Also, like from a mental health, mental awareness perspective, right? So that avoids anything like burnout. That avoids you getting
right.
complacent. That avoids you not liking and wanting to get up out of bed and going putting that work in. Right. Again, the title that I put out for this was "Show Up, Stand Out, and Win" because that's what you do. Um, a couple of things that you mentioned as well, and I want to rehash them before I forget because I'm an old guy, and if I don't say them, they'll fall out of my head.
Yeah.
Um, the fact that you've tried different technologies, different pieces of gear, different equipment. You've gone through the Nikons, you've gone through the Canons. I need to get you over to Sony, but
Oh, I'm using Sony right now. I
okay,
have
okay.
Sony as well.
Listen, I got
Yes.
some Sonys for you if you need. I can. We can. Let me upgrade you.
Oh, I do. I do. Please send
No,
me your resale list because I need a second
okay,
camera in here. So yeah, send
holla
me
at
your
you.
Sony for sale
Okay,
list.
holla at your boy. But but the fact that you've gone through using those different products, those different technologies, you can be a subject matter expert. You can be that trusted advisor because you know how Rode versus works versus Shure. You know how Sony works versus Canon or versus Nikon. You have that experience, so you can be that coach. You can be that consultant to talk to folks who may be interested. I just need a camera. I need a mic. I need some lights. Well, okay,
Yes.
I've gone through this and I've used this. This is what I recommend based on what I've used, but also based on your need and your situation. So you've got that background. Lord, let's see. Here we go. I'm gonna kick this guy out of the comments, but
He can DM me.
what?
Just let him know he can
No.
DM me if
So
he has questions about watches.
I'll just say this, Steve. It is the same one that you're using. There. Now I'll leave it at
I
that.
can't see his comment, but it's like he can
He's
always
saying,
DM me.
what platform are you
Well, no,
using?
you don't have. Oh, it's.
It's the
Oh,
same.
right now, it depends. For me, is he talking about streaming platforms?
Oh, because I was talking about I was talking about like HoneyBook.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I've used HoneyBook, and I've used. Should I go? I won't go through the whole
Go ahead.
list,
Listen,
but I
if
do
you got
love.
affiliate links, you better mention these companies.
Yes, you can message me in the DMs if you're on. You can always message me, and I'll be happy to send you a full list of what I'm using now. But I have used HoneyBook. I'm loving HoneyBook. Before that, I also had through Squarespace. They have Acuity. I've used
Yeah.
Acuity. There's several others. There's Sprout if you're focused on photography. There's there's a lot, and also shout out, not a shout out, but thank you to the brands that have partnered with me through the years. I always disclose if I'm sponsored by one,
You
but
have to
this
do
is
that.
not a
Yes.
sponsor. I can
Yeah.
absolutely tell you that I do love, and I learned about it through Latasha James on YouTube. She's a
Hmm.
social media marketing strategist and manager for social media. And I was like, I don't know if that could work for me, but let me see. And I tested it through using her trial link, and I'm loving it right now. So HoneyBook is great. I love it for what I do, but
Yeah.
I've used others, and I can absolutely give you my feedback on the others if that maybe it'd be a better fit for you. But right now, I do love that.
There's a call to action for everyone right there. I'm gonna put Rocky's links everywhere so you can reach out to her as well. But I'm definitely gonna have you back into the digital collective network, the private community to go.
Okay.
So we're at 101 level right now, but to go at that 201, 301 level, the one to one and or the one to many about how you can assist and help folks as they want to level up their environment.
Yes, yes,
Keep
because
that in
it's all
mind.
levels. Like you
Yes.
said, that I think it's on my website right now, just letting you know. I've used my phone, I've used DSLR cameras, I've used PTZ cameras, I've used very expensive cameras, medium format, large format, because I went to college also for photography. But
Hmm.
all this to say, because of this knowledge, because of using all the brands, because of working with some brands to beta test their hardware or software before it's publicly available, I'm aware. I focus on the good things that they provide so I can find the right solution for you. So I do have a minimum, of course, working with me, but at the same time, I'm able to build something for you within your budget. So I don't think it's necessary to have a $30,000 video live streaming studio if you're just going to be talking a talking head. You might be fine using
Mm-hmm.
Aerocaster with a multiple camera iPhone camera setup. You might be fine with the ATEM Mini with two digital cameras. You might need to level up and use the SR. I was going to do all the VH, what is it, 160 HD by Roland with the several
Go
DSLR
get it.
cameras. You
Listen,
could
come
go,
on now.
and then you can go higher and higher. You can use different switchers, different cameras, but use what you need. And that's where my focus is, even for some of the clients that I've had where it was an annual contract, but each month they wanted a certain amount of content or a certain amount of live streams that they want me to help them produce. That was focusing on the setup I built for them that they needed. Some had multiple phones with a certain switcher, some cameras, some just one camera, but they needed help with the distribution side of it. So I'm the person that's kind of, I get you going, get you excited to go, looking professional, comfortable telling the story, and with your workflow using systems that won't overwhelm you if you're a solo producer, solo content creator. And then from there, I mean, I have friends in agencies. If you want to go ahead and start paying the 10,000 or 5 to 10,000 a month for someone else to manage all of that for you, or and more, because it goes up to 100, 6 figures for social media management, then I have someone I can refer you to. I like the one-on-one. Some people don't like it. I like the one-on-one to hear what your struggles are, what you want to build. And I've tested so many things and continue to at NAB. I've already got some early partners of gear that and hardware, software, luggage, different things for producers that I'm going to start testing. But that's all not just for me, but for you to recommend
Mm.
what maybe could be the right solution for you within your budget. That's where I'm at before you go, mainstream network.
That's all right. So, and one thing that I like about what you just said just now as well is your diversification, right? It's not just the live streams. It's not just on the scene type of thing. You've branched out your business into a number of different offerings from Savvy Streaming or RockyNash.com, right? There's more to you than just the camera work. There's the behind the scenes camera work. There's the production. There's the setup and all of that. Talk a little bit briefly about the importance of the diversification piece. I think again, a lot of folks maybe just now starting out. That's kind of the content that I want to, the audience that I want to talk to you right now. The folks that are just starting out and maybe intimidated, but the need to diversify the offerings that you provide to your community.
So for my community, my clients, I know my customer, they're multi-talented people. They're people who may have had a career in television or had a career in radio, but now they want to produce something for themselves. They're breaking away and now they're an entrepreneur and they're uncomfortable. They don't know what to do. They're feeling like, well, can I still get respected? Can I still attract an audience? Or it's that new content creators. Like I've been going live often, often, often. Now I'm getting people reaching out. I grew my audience and I feel like I need to level up. Or I want to start attracting brands. And while I have experience organically attracting brands by producing content and speaking about things I know, that attracted certain brands to me, where they're like, we should partner because I can help you be better. That's how I found them. But there are also people I know, mentors of mine, that can get you the larger name companies. They know how to pitch and how to nurture that relationship repeatedly to finally get the bigger brands sponsoring you for your events and for your show and commercials in between, things like that. But I like long-term brand partnerships. So to stay on track with what you were saying about, because I will go off on a tangent,
It's all good.
but no, yeah, but to speak to the diversification of it, I like being that Jill of all things, or that, because I'm able to speak to the pain point. I understand the pain points of many types of content creators. So,
Mm.
media, entertainment, film, who are trying to break away and do something for the first time and have someone who can be their coach, their guide to build them up, and then get them started and creating consistently. But I will say this, because it is my first year, I also understand, because I have successfully run another business before for a decade. Let's not discount that. But this is my new digital media agency company. So I recognize I may need to focus in on just one service eventually. But right now, I can be rogue and wild. In fact, right after this podcast, I'm going to a client who I helped set up a live stream studio at her house, and she's going to go live with her show. She's worked on commercials before, but it all started with her going live on social media, but then improving that setup to attract this brand, right? So I'm going to go sit in on a live stream and tweak a few things with her. But all this to say, I am going to, maybe after I do a little bit more research, after I have a few more clients, I won't offer, certain things anymore. Maybe it will just be the studio build, or maybe it will be just the building the rundown so that your flow of your show is really smooth. Or maybe it will just be helping you partner with brands and with the production when it's happening, like that live stream production.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just be behind the scenes. So we'll see. But right now, I'm comfortable doing this, but it's also research for me to kind of further refine who my customer is. But absolutely by next year, the prices will be going up and I will have less services because I understand for the business to scale and to last, I can't wear myself out until I'm able to hire more people to help me. So I look forward to that because I want to
Yeah.
teach more people what I'm doing. It's really exciting to be able to
Yeah.
build a dream with someone and have the knowledge to help them shape their dream. But I am going to have to scale it down. So you're right. Like let's not focus too much on my website right now. There's a
But
lot of offerings,
no,
but I will narrow it down eventually.
yeah, but I like that because there's power in the observance and the knowledge that scaling down, niching down, whatever the case may be, focusing in, locking in on what you're really good at makes sense, and there's no harm in that, right?
Right.
And then I also like the fact that you said as you grow in expertise, listen, prices might end up going up here in 5, 6, 7 months, whatever the case may be, because I really am a huge proponent that people pay attention to what they pay for.
Right. I do
I
too. I do
yeah,
too. I'll
right.
pay more for the better
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
I will just like apps, right? I'll sit and talk to a lot of technology companies, and they just launched this what they thought is this killer app that's going to take over the world. I'm like, and they're giving it away free, but it's full of ads and it's full of things that distract from the goal and the mission. And I'll ask them, I'll say, well, what is the monetization strategy? And they'll say, well, right now we don't really have one. We're just going to give it away free. We're going to try to grow the user base. And I always tend to shy away or tend to be a little more apprehensive of those because again, if you build a quality product and or service and you deliver value to your community, again, we pay attention to what we pay for. If I'm paying you on a monthly basis, on a subscription basis, or annual basis, or I pay for a LTD, a lifetime delivery of something, I'm going to be vested in that. I'm going to want to make sure that we've talked about HoneyBook. I want to make sure that HoneyBook is continuing to evolve and add features and functionalities each year. When the tax code gets updated, they're going to add new stuff for that. The calendar scheduling functionality, they're going to bring in some new features for that. They're going to bring in round robin scheduling. They're going to bring in meeting posts, right? All of that, we're going to, as the user and the consumer, we're going to be vested in
Right.
that. And as content creators, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, whatever you want to call ourselves, don't be afraid to charge for your services. Don't be afraid to charge for your wealth, for your value, because there is value in charging for what you actually put out and provide to your community. Um,
Right.
Let me bring this
That's what
question
people are
up.
paying for.
Exactly, and I like this. What Motivated Minds is saying. Good to see you here in the comments. Use what you need. How does one identify what they need? And that can be a whole 30 minutes. But I know I
I
want to be
can keep it
cognizant of
short.
time because I know you got to roll out. But again, that's an interesting question, right? Now, use what we need. Yeah, I got this phone, I got this iPad, I got this whatever. How do I know what I need if I want to tell a story about a particular product and or service and or offering?
Well, because I still remember my origin story and I
Come on
consider
now.
myself still there, you use what you have. That's my model is start where you are with what you have before you even buy anything. Because how awful would it be to invest in an expensive camera and computer and light and find out that you could have produced it with your phone because now the phones are just as good as cameras were 10 years ago. How awful would it be to invest in this huge
4K,
light? I'm not
60 frames per second, right here.
4K, 60 frames per second from your phone. I've seen my footage and my news professional friends know
Yeah,
this. When we
yeah.
would do calls on social media for if you're in this area and you see this, in the area and if you're seeing the traffics like this or if you're seeing the weather, can you please send us in a video? There people are sending it from their phones and it's making it on air. Think
Yeah,
about how much cell phone footage you are seeing in even your local news broadcast
that's
because it's
true.
coming from a viewer who was closer to the scene than we were. When you look at um, some of the feeds that we're even sending in from, I'm trying not to name too many brands, but just even in news, like when you're using apps like a live view, let's say you're using live
Yeah,
view and you get a live view app and we were sending in live feed from our phone to send it into the news station for them to then take that feed and put it on air. I mean, some of that's coming from, depending on the app you're using, I have so many apps, it's coming from a phone. Sometimes it comes from the camera, the news camera, but there's a lot you can do with your phone. So you're right. You don't know what you need, right? To get, maybe you're looking at someone and you want to dissect their studio and say, I think that's what I need. But the only way you'll figure it out is by first starting to create content. You may hate creating content and then decide maybe you shouldn't do this at all. So let's definitely not invest the money in the brand, the latest camera, latest lighting, latest, well, definitely get some audio, good audio. I can give you a list for what you
That's
should get.
true.
That's kind of
That's
like
true.
reasonably priced, because you don't want bad audio. People cannot endure that. I wouldn't listen to it. But start where you are. Start with your phone. Everyone has a phone. And this is another thing as regarding no excuses. When I didn't have the money, when I was, staying with a friend, I was still able to keep up with my schedule going live, because even if I didn't have cell service, we remember these days. I don't know if some
Man,
people do,
yeah, you
but when you
flashing
could
back
only
now.
when you only have Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
If you have a phone, it doesn't have to be the latest, and you have Wi-Fi. You could even sit near a library. Think of all the places where there's local free coffee
You
houses
used to
where there's
call it war
Wi-Fi.
driving. Used to call it war
Is
driving
that what they call it?
when you used to steal Wi-Fi connection from play back in
And the
before
thing is, it's
everyone started
available.
locking down their wireless networks. Yeah, we used to call it war driving.
Well, it's free though at coffee houses and
Yeah.
libraries and different places. So if you want to start and book a room in a library and go live, whatever it is you need to do, start simple, get consistent, and then you'll learn from your audience what they like by the views, right? You'll be able to see what they're
Yes.
interested in, and you can even ask them, create more of that content. And then once you start having offering, like, hey, if anyone wants to work with me, or hey, if you want my download for $10, on my latest tips for this, people will support you. They love supporting you. I had to have my audience beg me to put a buy me a coffee link when I was doing coffee house chats for the longest. They were like, we want to buy you coffee. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, fine. How do you do that? They walked me through it.
Love it.
That was early on. So to say this, start with your phone, start with Wi-Fi if you don't have a data plan. And then if you have a data plan, okay, great. Now you can produce anywhere. Start with your phone, vertical, horizontal. Go live to all the social media platforms, then invest in software. Like this is Ecamm. You're using Ecamm. OBS is free if you're on a PC.
Hmm.
And then I can keep going, but I won't. I think that was short enough.
See, wealth of knowledge here, folks. Listen, Rocky Nash is someone you want to know, and I'll end with this one right here because again,
Okay.
it's along the lines of the diversification and some of the stuff that you're doing as well, right? The whole life selling aspect, right? So
Oh, look at
you've
that.
got your Amazon store up or your Amazon landing page, your storefront, where you're actually walking through products that you use, you recommend, that you've broken, putting back together, and said this is no good, but this is good, and you can actually have that dialogue with an audience and with your community there as well. So from a content creator's perspective, again, talking about diversification in terms of monetizing your assets, you've got this store right here and you get affiliate revenue. Yeah, I mean, that's nice. But again, you're here actually serving as a subject matter expert and a technology and as a consultant to your audience. So something like this, I will make sure that this storefront link is in the description as well, because I think right now I just have your primary website and your YouTube and your Instagram, but I'll make sure that this is there as well. Are you
Okay.
still frequently pushing out on Amazon Live or what are you doing? Because I know I've got you marked right, so I know when you go live. And
No,
I haven't
thank
seen you
you.
live. Come on now,
No,
where you
I'll
at?
tell you why. I'll
All
tell
right,
you
where
why.
you at?
To speak to what I said, I'm constantly testing things, right?
Okay,
I go live everywhere because I want to know how that platform works, because maybe that platform is the perfect place for my client
yeah,
who has a product or who's partnered with a brand and they want to produce a show on Amazon Live. But not every platform is right for you. Not
mm,
every platform.
good
I
point.
find for me, because I go live consistently about technology, lifestyle, travel, certain brands want to align with me and my UGC style reporting. They love it. But I did notice while I only went live, I think it was within 2 days. It was my first time I got approved on Amazon Live. I went live around Prime Days, and within 2 days, I sold $5,000 worth of products. And I was like, what? This works. Oh
Come
my
on.
God. And then I would run live the regular days, and then I was like, okay. And then you wait until you get the reward. And when I saw the amount of reward I got versus how much I sold, I was like, okay, wait a minute. You have to reassess.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not judging it just from what for myself. I love it. I love it. I'm going to go live more regularly on Amazon, yes, because there's certain products that I want the entry level content creator to know about. And the more I go live on Amazon Live with my advice, it's going to help guide them. But I have found for myself and the type of content I create that it's better for me to align myself and get paid by the brands directly
Good
because
point.
I don't have time for the long game on Amazon Live to
Hmm.
finally make the affiliate income add up to something that to me is fair for what I'm selling. But if I were selling higher priced items, maybe, and if I was going live daily, then I do have peers who are doing very well on Amazon Live, but that's their focus. And you're going to get rewarded when you're focusing on something. And you can't expect to be an overnight success on Amazon Live, even though it felt like it for those 2 days. I was like, this is great. And so I will, yes. So continue to follow me there on Amazon Live because I want to do more of the entry level content creator gear that's affordable and available on Amazon because that's very important for people who are trying to not be afraid by the gear. So I'm going to keep
Yeah.
going live on Amazon. The affiliate income I'm not going to focus on because I'm focusing on brand deals for what I produce.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Where can folks find you? What's next? I know you talk NAB. This will be my first. I've gone to CES for 12 years. This will be my first time
Yes.
at NAB. So I mean, so what's
Yay.
what's next for you? What's going on in the world of Rocky Nash?
Well, I will be with you at NAB. So, the National Association of Broadcasters is April 15th through 19th. I will be there as media covering the latest experiences and booths, products, hardware, software for those in the media entertainment space from concept to creation. So, stay with me on rockynash.com. Follow me everywhere at Rocky Nash Live and I promise to keep publishing this content that serves you. So stay in touch. I'll be back on James Show. This is not going to be the last time that you see me, so I'm not going to give a long send off.
There you go. She said it. All right, and it's recorded. So there you go. She's now committed.
Yes.
Rocky, you're amazing. I appreciate you for taking the time to come in and share just again some tips, some tidbits, some information, helping folks get out of their own way, helping folks understand that with that camera that they got in their pocket or they got in their purse that they can make some amazing things happen. You really show up, you really stand out and you win. And
Yes.
again, I'm wearing this shirt for you, Chief Everything Officer. Appreciate you for you. Right, for going out there and just making things happen and knocking down barriers, knocking down doors, breaking through ceilings, just going out there and getting it done and not being uh, intimidated by anything that's out there, any false narrative. You really are a winner. So appreciate you for being who you are.
Thank you all. And I encourage you to go live because there's space for all of us,
Yeah,
for all your stories. You're the expert of your experience. Just get started because technology has enabled us all to create content that can support our lives. So let's go.
Rocky Nash, folks.